On the 24th of August 2023, the original voice actress and inspiration for the character of Harley Quinn, Arleen Sorkin, passed away after a lengthy battle with multiple sclerosis. Harley Quinn was originally intended as a one-and-done character, as a homage to the henchwenches of the 1960s Batman TV show. But Arleen Sorkin's performance really brought the character to life, and so she was brought back again and again. At the time of her passing, I put together a brief video looking at how Arleen Sorkin influenced the character, which you can watch here if you're interested. But today, I want to talk about what is arguably the very best Harley Quinn episode of Batman the Animated Series, Harley's Holiday. This episode is notable because it involves Harley Quinn setting out on her own. No Joker, no Poison Ivy, she has been given a clean bill of mental health and is ready to reintegrate into society. However, Harleen's emotional damage ran deep, and perhaps she wasn't quite as ready for the real world as everybody thought. There was something of a trope in Batman the Animated Series where villains would attempt to reform and everything would inevitably go wrong. See Riddler's Reform, Second Chance and Birds of a Feather, and this episode follows in that tradition. When Harleen is freed from Arkham, she takes to the streets of Gotham, taking her pet hyenas for a walk. However, the citizens of Gotham aren't accustomed to seeing exotic animals in public and become unnerved. Harleen doesn't recognise this, instead thinking that everyone is appalled by her outfit, a skimpy shirt and shorts with a pair of roller skates. And so she decides it's time to go shopping. The fact that her first thought is that the problem is with herself underlines Harleen's self-doubt and insecurity, something the Joker played upon and manipulated to get her to believe that they were in a loving relationship, and really shows us that her mental health issues aren't resolved. Of course, people with mental health problems generally have them for their entire lives. It's not like a cold, something that will go away with a little time, and the road to recovery is fraught with steps backwards as well as huge steps forward. The best that most people can hope for is that they become aware of the way their minds work and understand why they have the reactions they have and act accordingly. Harleen is not quite there yet. And that's the tragedy of this story. Harleen was so close to rehabilitation, but she was pushed over the edge by a simple misunderstanding. One that had happened to Arleen Sorkin and a friend in real life apparently, just less explosive. Harleen's insecurities and low self-esteem cause her to lash out in a panic. She's very quick to try to point the finger of blame elsewhere. Society's to blame. But the reality is, if she had just calmly listened to the security guard that wanted to remove the security tag from her dress, they probably would have laughed about the silly misunderstanding. Some of the blame can also be assigned to the guard. He could have just casually explained what was going on. And so she went into a full meltdown. And I find it funny how she conveniently had her Harley Quinn costume and makeup to hand, almost like she was expecting everything to go wrong. As with most tragic stories written by Paul Dini, there is a comedic element that helps to prevent the episode from becoming too dour. There's something gloriously absurd about the concept of Harley Quinn taking Veronica Vreeland hostage and being chased by a string of angry pursuers, each of them getting progressively more ridiculous. From Detective Bullock's car getting more and more damaged as time progresses, to General Vreeland commandeering a tank and opening fire on her, it's genuinely very funny. It's the kind of escalation you might normally see in an old Bugs Bunny cartoon. I half expected to see Elmer Fudd driving that tank. My favourite joke in the whole episode comes in the opening moments. While Harleen is being discharged from Arkham, Batman and Robin are bringing in a raving scarecrow, who demands that all bow down and worship the almighty and terrible god of fear, the Scarecrow. His reaction to being greeted by Harleen is just priceless.
Hi, Professor Crane.
Good evening, child. Worship me, fools! Worship me!
In a way, I feel that this is the anti-Heart of Ice, also written by Paul Dini. Heart of Ice was a tragic episode with some light moments of comedy to break the tension. This episode is a comedy, with some tragic and disturbing moments to act as a stark contrast. There's some unpleasantness when Harley Quinn heads to Boxy Bennett, last seen in the other Harley Quinn-centric episode Harlequinade. At the time, Bennett had been running an illegal casino before Harley and Batman shut it down. Harley goes to Bennett to see if he can smuggle her out of town, but he will only do it if he can ransom Veronica Vreeland off. And there is a distinct possibility of sexual violence. If Harley truly were the villain that everybody thought she was, she'd leave Veronica to her fate, but she refuses. She had promised that no harm would come to Veronica. She just needed to use her as leverage to give her some space and time to clear her head. Of course, sensing that this could be his red letter day, Bennett refuses to let the two of them leave. Enter Bud and Lou, the goodest of boys in Batman the Animated Series. Once again, there's humour in this scene that defangs the unpleasantness, as Bud and Lou tear away at Bennett's clothes, leaving him chasing after Harley in a fish van in his underwear, comically large boxer shorts with hearts on them. It's absolutely preposterous and it works perfectly. After Harley saves her from the cheap hoods, a friendship begins to blossom between Veronica and Harley. Although their accord is rudely interrupted by the arrival of General Vreeland, who indiscriminately shoots at the car, endangering both Harley and his daughter. The three-way chase culminates in an intersection in a calamitous crash, with Bullock's rundown jalopy colliding with Boxy's fish truck into General Vreeland's tank, which has flattened Veronica's car. As this is a chase episode, we get a glimpse at a rarely seen part of Gotham, what looks like the theatre district with bright neon billboards. This episode is a great example of how compassionate the btas Batman is. While he gives Harleen a firm, if slightly threatening, handshake at the start of the episode to congratulate her on her rehabilitation, he spends most of this episode trying to calm her down. It helps that he was present as Bruce Wayne to witness the misunderstanding. His first attempt at talking her down is unsuccessful, and he gets clobbered with a mannequin arm for his trouble. But he understands that she's in panic mode, and not behaving rationally. Batman is there throughout the episode trying to get Veronica back, sure, but he also wants to prevent Harley from being harmed. When Harley finds herself precariously dangling off a neon soda bottle sign, there's some symbolism at play here, I'm sure of it, he catches her and saves her life. But the real star moment of the episode comes when Batman returns Harley to Arkham, much as he had done with the Scarecrow the night before. Harley is clearly crestfallen, and she's once again trapped within those padded walls. However, Batman shows his kindness by giving Harley the dress she had been trying to buy from the department store. The dress acts as a symbol of Harleen's reformation, and Harley embraces it. Batman explains that he too had a bad day once, so he knows what it's like to try and rebuild a life. He clearly hasn't given up on her, and hearing that Batman is rooting for her is all Harleen needed to hear. With some time and effort, it's doubtless that she would be well on her way to recovery. And it's such a shame that her rehabilitation never came to be. Harley's holiday demonstrates that not all of Batman's villains are evil people out for revenge. Some of them are sad, wounded souls that just want to be accepted and loved. Harley acts out of a desire to please the wrong person, and as an audience we desperately want her to realise this. For a character that started out as just the Joker's assistant, Harley Quinn would go on to star in a number of excellent episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and one exceptional episode of the new Batman Adventures, which is a separate show, don't at me. Many fans may point to Mad Love as the definitive Harley Quinn episode, and I can absolutely see that argument, although the pedant in me would like to remind you all that it's an episode of the new Batman Adventures, not Batman the Animated Series. Did I already mention that they're two different shows? I'm pretty sure I did. I don't take issue with episodes focusing on Harley's one-sided relationship with the Joker. It's just that there are quite a few of them. Harley and Ivy, Harlequinade, Mad Love, Beware the Creeper. I think that Mad Love is just as much about the Joker and his warped relationship with Batman as it is Harley's relationship with him. I could even see the argument for the title being a reference to that relationship, not the Joker and Harley's. Then there's the fact that Mad Love contains very little humour. There's no positivity. As sad as Harley's holiday is, it does end on a positive note, suggesting that Harleen's recovery is almost within reach, just not quite yet. And for that reason I think that Harley's holiday is the best of the bunch. Most other Harley episodes tend to involve either the Joker or Poison Ivy, but this episode is entirely about Harley and her desire to resume living a normal life. The problem is Harleen Quinzel is anything but normal. She didn't succeed, and seemingly made no attempt at rehabilitation again until 2017's Batman and Harley Quinn movie. And I really need to talk about that film sometime. But I am not opening that can of worms today. In closing, I adore Harley's Holiday because it's not your typical episode of Batman the Animated Series. It's a story with a lot of heart and humour. As a viewer, I found myself rooting for Harley, hoping that she would somehow get out from underneath all of her emotional baggage and get it together by the time the episode ended. She didn't, but unlike other reforming villains, she didn't resort to outright villainy at the first sign of trouble. Harley Quinn may have started out as a nameless henchwoman, but this episode shows us the strength of her character. Even when she fails and spirals out of control, Harley very clearly demonstrates that she could hold her own as a lead character. All that's left to say really is, thanks for everything, Arleen. Okay, that's it for this week's essay. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell all your friends about me. You know how YouTube works. If you really enjoyed the video and have the means, please consider making use of the thanks button to send a buck or two my way, because every little helps. I offer channel memberships for $1.99 a month. This will get you early access to my weekly video essay, priority responses to your comments, members-only videos, custom emojis, and an icon on your profile indicating that you're one of my people. And special thanks to my current channel members, who are all listed on the screen right now. Next time I'm going to look at another villain redemption episode, one that I think is the best episode, featuring the fine-feathered Fink the Penguin. We're going to talk about Birds of a feather. Okay, granted, there's not a lot of competition, but stay with me. I want to examine the idea mentioned by Harley Quinn about society being to blame for some of Gotham's villains, and I think that Birds of a Feather really exemplifies that idea. Hope to see you then.